Yeah, some of our
Good
folks.
day, and thank you for joining us in the conversation. And we welcome you to the Relationship Marriage Hour. Um, and I am joined by host Dr. Maria McDonald, and I am the co host, Dr. Alvin C. Hepburn. And we thank you for um, being a part of our show. And we want you to join in the conversation today. You can text us at 437-778-3299, or you can reach out to us in the chat on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. But we are excited today to continue. This is part two of Should Parents Choose Mates for Their Children? Should parents choose mates for their children? Dr. Maria, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back on the program this afternoon with this topic. A great
Yeah.
topic, Dr. Alvin, part two.
Yes, part two. It's an interesting topic. We covered a lot last time we were on, talking about the pros and the cons of parents being a part of the choice or choosing mates for their children. And wow, when we think about it, Doc, we see some benefits to it, and we do see some upsides and some downsides to parents doing that. I am of the
Mhm.
opinion that maybe parents may not choose, but their input should be very important. Why? Because as parents who have been active in nurturing and the growing of those children, they have an idea of their likes and dislikes, what works best with them or don't work with them, all of that stuff. So what are your thoughts? Should parents keep their mouth closed or should they open it and share?
I prefer to say that they should open and share, Dr.
Okay.
Alvin. And I've had the opportunity to explore this topic a lot more. And one of the things that I found out is that it's always good for the parents to teach their children how to assess the individual whom they may be interested in dating and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some points that they should be looking out for. You just don't go blindly into a relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
the parents' input is important.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's really important because if that child was not taught how to assess the individual, they could make dumb mistakes, Dr. Alvin.
Yeah.
In the final analysis, the choice would still have to be with that child. The parents can
Yeah.
tell you, they can show you, but the ultimate decision rests with the child. So,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, the parents should not be choosing the mates for their children,
Yes.
and
So you
that's
actually said something that's very important. If if as parents, if we train our children on how to make wise decisions and and how to evaluate circumstances and situations, then we may have very little to say when it comes to them choosing their mates because we've already given them the tools that they
mm-hmm.
need to make that choice. That is wow, that is powerful, Doc.
Yes, yes.
So in essence, we are, because we taught them how to use the tools, we are in essence helping them to choose.
Silently, yes. Silently,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
helping them, but we're allowing them to use their God given ability
Hmm.
with our guidance, of course,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it cannot be you looking at the face, the outward appearance, and not looking with inside.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's not easy to say I'm looking on the inside, but you just cannot choose from the outside. And
Hmm.
that's where I think that's our homework That's our homework as parents. Make sure we give them the right tool. Make sure we show them exactly what they're looking for.
Hmm. Now,
Because
now, Doc, what you think about then these lists? Cause, cause I know, I have been in churches and in small group conversations where we were encouraged, man. Before you go there looking for a spouse, write up your list of things that you want. Um, and before I share my experience with the list, I want to hear. So, what do you think about that being a tool, telling them to write up this list and go by this list?
I feel, Doc, the list is fine because it
Mm-hmm.
kind of narrow in where you should be looking. Because if you don't see some of the qualities you're looking for, then you would run with anything that passes by.
Okay.
So the list helps you to pull in what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you cannot just stop with the list.
Mm-hmm.
It goes beyond the list. He
Okay.
may be tall, he may be dark, he may be handsome, he may have a good job. But now, this is where you're going to start with your assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Does he has the value? Does he have values?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The
Yes.
outward side you see,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we got to really dig deeper.
But Doc, that list thing, if I had gone by that list, I would not be happily married for 20 years this year. Because top on my list was mangrove skin and long hair.
Oh wow!
Because
Oh
my
wow!
mother had mangrove skin and long hair, that therefore my wife should have mangrove skin and long hair. And if you
Please
don't have
tell them what
mangrove,
Doc. Tell them what that mango skin is, in case that's our Western culture terminology. Please
ah,
explain
yeah,
that to them.
you must be light skinned. You can't be dark like me. You must be of a lighter complexion.
Hmm.
Um, and if you go in the food store and you see the mango, the skin of the mango is nice, light, and golden.
Mm.
So when we say mango skin, that's what we're talking about. And everybody know what long hair is. Yeah, we all for that long hair, and that's what my mother had. And with Tanya, when because we've said the story over and over. When Tanya and I, we met actually in a math class, and our math professor would have us come over to her house, and we would have these discussions about um, who you think, well, will you get married in the future and all that type of stuff. And actually, Tanya was there, Doc, saying she will never get married.
Wow.
And while Tanya is there saying she'll never get married because A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the thought hit me, wow, this woman could be your wife. And I'm like, not her, because she ain't have mango skin and long hair. She ain't the one.
Wow.
But but because I did not stick to the list per se, I went and I said, you know what? Let me find out what the qualities
There you go.
that this young lady possessed. And I found out that the qualities that I was looking for, all of them, she had it deep down in her. And I'm like, wow, this could be the woman of my dreams. And it turned out that she was, and she
She
is.
was.
So, so even though people may encourage you to write these lists, Doc, um, I would say don't be hard and fast.
On that
It
list.
gotta be this list or nothing, because your perfect gift may come in a box that you don't even expect.
Hmm. So true, Doc. So true. But I've heard persons really asking the Lord. Now it's a difference, I imagine. If you
Hmm.
are praying to the Lord and you're telling him the type of person you're looking for, she must have this appearance. She
Hmm.
must be this type person. So if that is the case, then yes, you can stick with your list because that's what
Hmm.
you're asking him for.
Hmm.
But he may also say, listen, that's a deep well right there. But
Yeah.
um, if we have any ideas, sometimes the list doesn't always work the way you want it. Things may change, but you should at least know what you are looking for in that individual. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't see the values, look at this way, Doc. You may have found a mango skin young lady. Outwardly, she exactly what you was looking for. But
Mm-hmm.
when you check the values, when you check her personality and all of those stuff, totally far from what you're looking for in a mate.
Been there, done that.
All right. So you know. So you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot, I agree, we shouldn't be bent solely on that list.
Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah.
we assessing beyond the face value and all of those
Mm-hmm.
good stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
Right.
I think that is a key that we can say to the parents out there, that when you talk to your children and you are helping them in making the decisions, that you always teach them this principle of don't judge a book by its cover. Look
Yes.
beyond, go deeper, ask the right questions, um,
Hmm.
and then give them questions to ask. Doc, you'll be surprised to know how many in this generation we think know, but they don't know.
They don't know. They don't
They
know.
do not
You're right.
know, and if
You're
we
right.
don't tell them, who's gonna tell them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Alvin, I believe one of the first things we should look for is that value in that person. Does he or she has integrity? Does he or she knows how to respect and to talk to people? If you find you're dating someone and that person has no respect for others, no good attitude that you can say, brag about, then you know that's one of the red flags.
Hmm.
So the first assessment you do is check for the values.
Hmm.
Does he have integrity? Is he honest? Does he speak well to people? And that's your first homework assignment. And that's what the parents should teach the children.
And
Don't
Doc,
just.
you say something that is just so powerful.
Mhm.
And I just want to put this right in there so you could continue. I
Mhm.
could have checked Tanya's values because my parents taught me values.
Ah,
They taught me integrity. So when
yes,
I saw, I said, man, this girl was taught the exact same thing. The
yes,
value is there, the integrity is there, the honesty is there. She 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 understands how things should be and what is right and wrong,
hmm,
and all of that type of stuff. And boy, Doc, some of these children can see value because
no,
they were never
don't
taught
know
how it
value.
even look, and
That's
they
right.
don't have it.
Yes. So, Doc, then what you're saying to me too is that if they do not have values themselves, they also will be a bad person for that relationship. So yeah, you
Yeah.
got two bad apples hanging out together, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So who can help who? But
Thank you.
the thing is, they then need to take the advice of someone who can see better.
Hmm.
Now this is where the children should rely on uh, the parents. If the parent has value, because you may have a parent who just do not care, or find someone whom you
Hmm.
can trust that shows value, that has
Hmm.
integrity, and
Hmm.
then sit. And that is why it's important, Doc, for counseling.
Yes.
That person then steps in what the parents may have or should have already taught you. That counselor steps in and he try to find out whether you're compatible or not.
Yes. Yes.
You
And
know,
that's important.
it's important. So if you miss it with the parents, you should get it with your counselor
Hmm.
prior to the
Hmm.
marriage.
Yeah.
And usually, and I've known in a situation of marriage where the counselor interviewed both individuals, and then he realized there was no compatibility, and he advised the couple.
Oh, wow.
He didn't recommend them to get married,
Uh-huh.
but they still felt, oh, we love each other. She's
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
and they went ahead with the marriage. But guess
Mhm.
what? Did it last? No.
No.
They had a miserable couple years.
Oh, Lord.
Miserable, miserable. So
Mhm.
if there is no compatibility, and if he is far left and you, the best thing to do, y'all keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that's important.
So talk really then. Parents who play a major role in their children's choosing who their mates are,
They
When
do.
we look at it, because watching how daddy treat mommy,
Yes.
I'm like, okay, do I want to be that type of man that treat whoever I marry like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want to treat her different?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning from seeing how daddy treats mommy. Then I'm also learning by seeing how mommy treats daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want a wife to treat me like that? So really, as parents, we are shaping the minds of our children to help them in the choice.
Yes. Yes.
So we are speaking loudly by not even opening our mouths.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Doc, that is why we always we say that children learn what they see.
Yes.
You can tell that child all you want, do this and don't, and you live in something else. What you think they're gonna follow?
Yeah.
The voice that speaks loudest, how you live in. Um, so that is something, and I like the fact that you brought that up, because
Yes.
if
Yes.
they may not have been taught verbally, they can watch that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
watch
Mm-hmm.
the relationship of other persons that seem to have it, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
exemplifying a good life, how you ought to live. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you see it outside, but it's not the way inside. But who cares? Once you see the positive side of it,
Mm-hmm.
adopt that, adopt that positive part. You know.
I I have talked to persons, doc, who said, I want to marry a man not like my daddy.
Yes.
I don't like how my daddy treated my mummy. So
Yes.
I'm not going to marry. So when they see men that reminds them who have the traits, certain traits of their father, they
Yes.
run from them.
Yes. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing.
It's the same thing too that they can say, I want a man like my father.
Yes. Yes.
And then when they see those traits, they gravitate to those persons. So,
Hmm.
so in essence, we are helping our children choose their mate.
Yes.
So as parents, we need to be cognizant of this fact that we are modeling for our children how this marriage should be or
Hmm.
how marriage should be. Um, Even though we also have to say to them, this is mummy and daddy marriage. When you get married, yours will not be exactly like ours
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
no two marriages are alike.
Our
They
life.
may
Yeah.
have things in common, but they are not 100% the same.
Hmm.
So yes, get to good, look at, because sometimes and like there's no perfect marriage. um you will see some things in your mommy and daddy's relationship that you're like, boy, I like that, but I don't like this. And then
Hmm.
when you get in your relationship, through communication, you then find out the value system, or where the mindset is of
Hmm.
the person that you're thinking of marrying.
Right.
um and then too, listen, talk to your parents. That's what I say. Because if
Yes.
there's anyone who have your best interests at heart, your parents were taking care of you before you even know what taking care of was.
Was. Yes.
So why not? They help to bring you to the place that you are. And
Hmm.
so that means they've been making decisions for your life all your life.
Even before you born.
Thank you very much. So why you think that they're not wise enough to give you counsel?
That's right. That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah. So
And as you were saying about children watching the parents and seeing the way the parents, you have some kids do not want to be like that. Some kids
mhm,
want to
mhm,
be exemplified, a good part of it. But can you imagine a wife who is watching everything the mother does, and not always good, but the same way that mother treats that husband?
mhm.
You'll be surprised that daughter pick up all your negative habits.
Yes.
Just how you treat that man so poorly, she
Mhm.
then do likewise. So what do
Yeah.
you think happens then? You know, um,
Mhm,
she's living now what she has seen. So how can the mother then tell this child, no, that's not the way, you shouldn't treat your mom or your husband like that?
mhm.
But she watching the mother, she is now doing it. So it's really important that parents give the right message in their training so
Mhm.
that the children can really apply it
Yeah.
to their lives.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's very, very important. So
Yeah.
so let's talk even to the parents now and saying, um, what you do now impacts your child's decision making in the future.
Yes. Yes.
So if you want your children to make wise choices, let them see you making wise choices.
Yes.
Let them see you going through the process of, okay, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're not going to do these once we're going to do this.
Right.
Model it in front of them. And what I think, Doc, why it gets harder and harder every generation is because we, as parents, want to make it easier for our children.
Yes. 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 But Doc, listening to you, what I'm getting to, as parents, we are living dual lives, if I can use
Mm,
that terminology. We're
mm-hmm,
living to enjoy life for ourselves, to
mm-hmm,
please our spouse, to please ourselves. But
mm-hmm,
at the same time, we are setting clear cut goals,
mm-hmm.
or what should I say, goals, not goals, um, um, picture of what this life should be for our children. We're
Yes.
leading our children now into the same path of what a good marriage should look like,
Mm-hmm,
how we treat each other. So, in other words, we're enjoying ourselves, but we also training our children. Bottom
mm-hmm.
line, we're
Yes.
training them.
Mm-hmm,
You know.
mm-hmm. And Doc, I was thinking last week, and you just touch on it. We can't be too hard on the parent for making life easier for the children. Um, Reason being, there's some things that I suffered, um, that I considered hardship with my
Hmm.
parents, that I said, boy, when I grow up, I can make sure that don't happen to me no more.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
give you case in point. Um, and I hope our listening audience know what this is. Hand-me-downs.
Oh yeah. Know that.
You remember hand-me-downs
Oh yes.
where and I'm the last of 9 children, Doc. I have
So
five
you got them
older
all.
brothers and 3 older sisters. Ask me about something new. I know.
But see, Doc, it depends on where you fall. For me, I was the
I'm the
oldest
last
girl,
of 9.
so you was down the line.
Thank you very much. So everything was
Yes.
my brother's own that hand down to
Hmm.
3 and 4 of my brothers, and then it come to me.
Yes.
And I told myself, boy, when I grow up, I even down to the socks, doc, down to socks.
but
My wife asks me all the time, Alvin, what is wrong with you as it relates to socks and underwear? Because I refuse to wear hand me down. I Every time I go to the States, I have to buy brand new. Doc, I'm only got to put 4 drawers full of socks.
loving
So
yourself.
so I make sure H&M get that. Cause
Yes.
cause it scarred me.
But the thing
It's
is, the problem with the hand-me-down dog, they took care of those clothing. When
Thank you
you
very
got
much.
it, they still look new because
Yes.
they took care of it, realizing that it had to come down the line,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was the oldest girl, so it came from me down. So I
Oh
got to
Lord.
use the
So you always
opportunity
got the new stuff.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Or it came from an older cousin.
Exactly,
Uh,
So, but those are the things we tend to want to make sure our kids are happy. They didn't go through what we're going through. But Doc, I stand on this point with that. We can do that to some extent, but
mm-hmm.
at some point, that child has to learn some of the hard things that we went through
Yes.
to become the better person that we want them to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
And
know.
that's what I'm saying. And I'm asking the Lord now to help
Mhm.
me strike that balance
Yes.
that I said I want to make life easier for Tanya and me. But in making that life easy, I don't want to um, um, sabotage my children or give them that way out that they don't get to learn the principles. Cause
Yes.
too, when you see that, okay, yes, Alvin, this is yours, but this is not yours. This is only yours for now. You must take care of it.
Mhm.
Learn how to take care of things.
That's right.
So in that hand me
Yeah.
down things, we learn the value of taking care,
Yes.
because what is yours now may be somebody else own tomorrow. So then,
Yes.
too, Doc, we aren't even entitled. That
No.
spirit of entitlement, we don't have it.
Uh-huh. And that's the good thing about it.
Thank you very much. But this generation, they are so entitled. Everything is theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't take care of it. They do what they want to do. It's a
Right.
whole different ball game.
It was a method behind the madness of our forefathers.
Mm-hmm.
We thought they were just being hard, and yes, sometimes circumstances didn't provide allow them to have what they really want. But there was a method behind their madness. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
us to learn the principles of some things because a child can become selfish if that child gets and do not understand how to share.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So once they understand that what I have, someone else would appreciate. Or we use the term "one man junk is another man's treasure." Not
Yes.
if you
Yes.
don't appreciate it anymore means then that you treat it, you tear it up, you cut it up. No, someone else can use it. So we have to teach our children all of these values, all of these principles. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to choosing a mate, they can look beyond the beauty, they can look beyond the handsome face, they can
Yes.
look beyond the long dollars, the nice car, and they can look to see whether we have anything in common.
Yes. Powerful,
You know,
Doc.
yeah, we have to do it for our children because
Yes.
we want the best for them, but at the same time, we want it to be done in the right way. I
Yes.
forgot. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You are
So,
so right. And Doc, even now in my house, you know that we did renovations, and
right.
AJ has his own room, Naya has her own room, but my wife says no, we're not putting them in their own room now. I want them together. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because they got their own room. Let them go. Because I tired of, oh, he taking this from me, doing that to me. Times like they need to learn how to live together. I
together.
now
Yeah,
see the
she's right.
value of it. Because
Yes,
now when they that's that conflict that they have, Tanya says to them, y'all go figure it out.
that's
Go
right.
figure out
That,
how y'all are going to make it.
that's
You
right.
are not going in your own room. You all to go in
Hmm.
that same room and figure it out. And that right there, you are teaching them, okay, you ain't gonna always get it your way. You gotta
That's
learn
right.
how to compromise.
To
You have to learn how to
compromise.
share.
Yes,
You
that's
you
right.
gotta learn how to, okay, if you give this day, you're gonna have to take tomorrow.
Hmm.
And
That's
I
right.
now see the value of it. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
I being the big man in the house, I'm like, okay, we add on piece to our house. My son got his own room. My daughter got her own room. Yeah, I feel big, but in doing that and making life what I think better for us, we
Hmm.
now take away those values of when four of y'all was sleeping in one bed,
Ah, see, and everyone was happy. You
happy.
know,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I look at, Doc, when we were growing up, we grew up in like a two-bedroom house, and
Mm-hmm.
those houses felt so big, you know. But guess what? We all lived together. We all
Mm-hmm.
shared. We all learned, you know. So it helps. It helps. And it teaches the individual to how to be compassionate with other people
Mm-hmm.
who don't have.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches them how to understand, respect, all of these. And sometimes they parents may not give direct teaching on what to look for in a mate. But because of the values they instill in those children, when
Mm-hmm.
they get old enough, they're looking for the same value in that mate,
Mm-hmm. 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 That is true.
you see?
So true,
So,
dog.
yeah, so we just have to, and that is why I believe the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go.
Mm-hmm.
They would
And
be
when he's
able
old,
then,
he won't depart.
they would depart from it. So when he find that woman
Mm-hmm.
and that woman lacking what this, and that, he
Mm-hmm.
realized that ain't the one.
Yeah, yeah. Let me keep it moving. Let me
Yeah,
keep it moving. Yeah,
and
yeah.
believe it, as much as we think some of our young people do not know, we have some young men. There are certain values they're looking for in a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
He may not say it to her, but he watch her. And if
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't see it, he just keep playing. But
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't regard her as a marriage material. How
Yeah,
she
yeah.
presents herself is what he will, look at.
You. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we could even say, Doc, if parents feel that I should be able to choose my children's mate or have the majority of say, you can, and it starts from the child's birth by you teaching
exactly,
them how to make those wise decisions.
exactly.
You modeling in front of them, this is what you should be looking for.
Mm, I love
Because
it.
even Doc, when AJ and Naya have their little conflict and we hear them screaming at each other inside the room, and we go in the room or we call them to our room, my wife or I would say these words to two of them, and my wife like to say, "Do you ever hear your daddy screaming at your mummy?
All right.
Do you hear us calling one another names?
Mm-hmm.
No, mommy, no, dad."
And
So
that
right
get them
there,
to
we are
thinking.
teaching them. We are teaching them.
That's right.
So why do you think you should do it if we aren't doing it?
Exactly. I like that. I like that.
So pattern your life after what you see mommy and daddy doing.
Hmm.
So I'm helping AJ in how he should treat or what he should look for in a wife by him watching me take care of his mother.
That's right. That is so true.
And
So,
Naya is also watching. Well, I see how daddy's taking care of mommy, so I have to make sure that whoever man step my way
mhm,
could do what I see my daddy do or better.
that's right. Wow. This is powerful. So we do, parents, we do have say in how our children choose their mates.
Mm-hmm.
May not be directly,
Mm-hmm.
but like you say, from birth, we're training them. I love that.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
training them. So parents, don't wait until they are man and woman, adults on your hand, and then you
Mm-hmm.
try to shove everything down their throat at the last minute.
Yeah.
No, start the training from birth. And as they get older, you show them. And you know, too, Doc, what I think is a good thing. If you see anything that is happening, rather than just watching it, use it for a teaching moment. You see a
Mm-hmm.
man shouting at a woman, then you would say to that child, that is a way you should never treat your wife. You should never
Mm-hmm.
treat her. So give them a teaching moment from every bad situation that you may encounter, because it will also help that child to understand some things. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. So
um,
true.
we don't we may not want them to see some negative attitude that may be out there.
Mm-hmm.
But in the event they see it,
How do
use
they
it.
deal with it?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we need to let our children know that yes, mommy and daddy do get mad at each other, but there is still a way to deal with that anger. There's still a way to deal with that conflict, and
Yeah.
you still need to be in control.
Hmm. Yes.
So it never gets out of control, and
Hmm.
that's where we are to now with our children and teaching them. Yes, conflict will happen,
You will always
but
have
it's
it.
how you deal with conflict that is
Yes.
so important.
It sure is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, Doc, man, this is so powerful. So,
Yeah.
um, we have people in the Eastern world, or the eastern part of the world who still from birth chooses, my son will marry your daughter, that type of stuff. But here in the Western side of the world, we leave it up to the children to decide. But we could still play a major role in that process by how we train our children and how we model our lives in the front of them, that they too can make wise choices. And
Hmm.
I think that is so powerful.
It is. And you're talking about arranged marriage,
Yes,
doctor. Those
yeah.
arranged marriage. Um, it's just that we've moved away from it, but we're doing it the way we do, like from training, like you say.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
training them, and we allow
Hmm.
giving them some freedom to make
Yeah.
the choice.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
that arranged marriage is wrong,
No.
because the parents at the same time they're looking at everything that
Hmm.
they would have taught the child, but
Yeah.
they themselves are looking at everything, and they, because of their way of doing things, they want to know that we have this young man, we bring in this young man, and he may take over my estate, he may take over the
Hmm.
money, but we want to
Hmm.
make sure he can handle my money when he
Yeah.
comes in. So you
Yeah.
could understand their reason for
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
choice. So,
Hmm.
and that's fine.
Hmm. It
But
is. It is.
we have to help our kids out. Um, and you know, there are some homes where the training is not the way um, it should be. We see you, Betty, um, and we thank you for your comments. In the home, sometimes the home is not help. The relationship in the home may not be healthy,
Hmm.
but you know, it's always good to for the child. If you know you're in a relationship, a home where the relationship is not as healthy, then it would be good for that child to seek counsel from someone that they can trust, someone that has um, a good, you know, personality, or someone who has a good image in this, in the, maybe in your church or
Hmm.
wherever. But find someone that you can talk to, that will be
Someone wholesome. Mm-hmm.
wholesome is the better word,
Mm-hmm.
that you can talk to and bounce your questions off,
Mm-hmm.
because not all home has a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in a case like that, that child may be subject or prone to make some of the same mistake that is being
Mm-hmm.
displayed in home. So to
Mm-hmm.
prevent that, find a wholesome person to talk to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and to help you make wise choice.
Mm-hmm. And we will even say, Doc, to those listening to us who may have come from broken homes of such, or those homes that were not wholesome. Even, Doc, even I think in some wholesome homes, there can be a level of toxicity that exists.
Sure
But
enough.
but what we have to do as individuals, and because we are free moral agents, is that we have to decide what I would take and what I would discard.
That's right.
You
That's
have
right.
to make up as an individual what you want and what you don't want.
Hmm.
I remember earlier in my marriage with Tanya, she would say things to me like, "Alvin, I'm not settling for that. That's not what I want."
Hmm.
And that is so powerful, because that then means that she found out who she wanted to be as an
Is yes.
individual. So if one of the
That's
things
right.
we as parents can do to equip our children with the right tools so that they can have a better relationship than we even have with our spouse,
Hmm.
is that you help
Hmm.
them find who they are. Find out
Yes.
who you are,
Yes.
what you like, what you don't like. So when you get in situations, you can say,
Hmm.
you know what? Yes, you was a nice fella, but you just ain't nice for me,
Hmm.
because you aren't going the same road or the same path that I want to
We
go.
don't have exactly.
And
We
and
don't share. Hmm.
Doc, I haven't preached that today. Mean you don't have to agree. That don't means I need to demonize you. That don't means that you
No.
ain't that you're no good. It's just that
No.
you ain't the right fit for me.
That's
You
right.
may be the right
And
fit for
that's not.
somebody else. It's just not
That's
me.
right.
And in me knowing
That's
that,
right.
before all this feeling and all of that emotion get involved, let's just go our separate ways. You find whoever it is that you should be with, and I find who I should be with, and we both live happily ever after.
Hmm.
And that's what parents, we need to be able to teach our children, know how to say, you know what, this ain't working
Goodbye.
out. No, let me move on.
Yes. Oh, doc, that is a topic in itself right there,
Yeah.
because people cannot stand to break off relationship. It seems if it isn't working, they, for example, if the young lady decides she doesn't want the young man because we are not compatible, it
Hmm.
creates a whole lot of problem. He doesn't want to leave, or he feels that he's being rejected, you know.
Hmm.
But if you are not compatible, it should not be a hard thing to say, I don't think we're going to make it
Hmm.
because you like that and I like this. Can
Hmm.
we simply just part as friend or end this before we go any further?
Yeah, yeah.
But instead, they stick around. They
Hmm.
know it's not going to work.
Hmm.
They make the other party believe we're going to be all right. But in their mind, they're saying, no, this is not the woman I want to marry,
Hmm.
but I'll
Hmm.
just hang around and play with her for a while.
Yeah.
No,
No.
that is where problem comes in, Dr. Alvin. And you have all kind of problem to break off that relationship
Hmm.
anymore. You know, Doc, it's the same way
Yeah.
you get married to a person. They say if the marriage is consummated, you can it's already started, or you
Hmm.
can't pull back. They go into things they should not be going into in a
Hmm.
relationship, and then they find themselves becoming attached to the person and don't want to be attached.
Yeah, yeah. Doc, I was counseling this couple, and when they came in for counseling. They, they already had their date set. The colors was picked, everything, and I'm like, okay, then let's go through these sessions. And the more and more we went through the sessions, I had to ask them, y'all sure y'all want to do this? Y'all sure this is really this marriage? I said, if y'all enter marriage, I like you telling me everything you don't like about this guy. That's who he is. Why are you even here?
That's right.
And I'm like, you know everything he's showing you now is in moderation, right? After y'all get married,
It's
all
coming
hell
out.
can break loose then.
It's coming out.
And
Yes.
you know what she said to me? The young lady said to me, well, I didn't buy my dress and I didn't send out the invitations. I said to her, listen, forget about that.
That's right. That's
It's
money
not
that
even,
can be
you
replaced.
could you could buy a new dress, you could keep that
Mhm.
dress for a later date. Your invitations tell them, yo, you change your mind. You sure you want to do this? And they did it. And the 2 years, I don't even know if they were together for 2 years, dog.
Yeah, I've
And the
seen
two
them.
years was hell.
Yes. Yes.
If they were even together for 2 years. And I'm
Yes.
like, for a dress?
No. No. For a couple dollars that can be replaced.
Hmm.
Your life is more important than that.
Yeah.
If you find out he or she is not compatible, do not get. You could be going to the church and you find out this ain't working. Change your mind. I prefer you to walk and cancel that wedding in the church. Invite the people to eat all the food that was prepared, but stay away from it. If it's
Yeah.
not compatible, do not worry about the money. Money can be replaced, but
Yeah.
lives cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
you found
especially,
out
Doc, if you
that
bring
they have
children into it.
sweetheart while you're dating,
Yeah, you're
and
not
you
ready.
think that can stop?
You're not ready. No,
Mm,
they're not ready.
mm.
But see, that's because we have to really sit down and teach our children
That's what it
how
is.
to assess, how
Yes.
to assess
Mm-hmm.
a character of the individual they plan to date.
Mm-hmm.
Check them out, see if they are worthy enough
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
marriage.
Yeah. 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 So true.
And, and like you said, it may work for somebody else, but my standard that I have set, it's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the problem is we realize the person is not compatible. We are not going to make it, but they waste too much time spending time with the person.
Yeah. Wasted
Let,
time.
yeah, let him go. Let it go. If it's the
Mm-hmm.
first date and you see something that is not what you're looking for, you don't even need to continue.
Yeah.
And that's what dating is for, Dr. Alvin. You date, and if you see anything about this person, it doesn't have to be long dating.
No.
You
No.
go out with that person and you can see a lot, you can hear a lot in maybe one day.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch and you can see. So don't try to fix a man.
No. It ain't gonna work. That's not your job.
That's not your job.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
Lord has
Mm-hmm.
given us a free gift, Dr. Alvin,
Yes.
giving us all we need, but man still do what he want to do.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
we women think we can change that man?
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, if you know he doesn't have respect for you, your parents, now, and you're not married, like you say, Doc, it escalates.
Yeah. It only can get worse.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And you give them the license after you get married to
that's it.
continue to treat you badly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't respect you now, young ladies, he's not the one. Young
Yeah.
men, if she doesn't respect you now, he
Forget
ain't
it.
the one. It
Yeah.
has to be respect, mutual understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and integrity.
Yes. And you got to be honest.
It has to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
That's
So
how you can parents and can help you with your
mm,
choice
yeah,
with your
yeah.
needs.
And if your preference is mango skin and long hair, go. But make sure the values are there. Make sure those values are there. The person is honest. They're trustworthy. They they're respectable. They're they're work. They're compatible, and you can work with them.
Yes,
If that can't happen, don't even try it. Um,
yes.
don't even try it. And I know that we got this thing going around now. Say, oh, but I'm an alpha woman looking for an alpha man and all kind of thing. And I'm like, no, we don't even have to go that deep.
No,
If
no,
your personalities don't blend, you go your way, I go my way.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we are looking at Betty from Niagara Falls. Thank you for your comment. You train a child to be good husbands and wives. We
Mm-hmm.
totally agree with you, Betty. And
Mm-hmm.
from Beauty in Niagara Falls, she's saying great program. Thank you too for listening to us. And if you have any comments or any questions, please just share your question or comments. Or if you wish for us to cover a particular topic, please let us know, and we would be happy to cover whatever topic that you
Mm-hmm.
would like for us. Doc?
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a very touchy subject, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in our last two sessions of it, we have done a very good job in helping our listening audience understand that even though your parents may not come out forcefully in our Western society and say, yes, marry this one, or no, don't marry that one. By the way they have trained you or modeled their lives in front of you, it gave you tools that you used so that you can choose who that perfect mate, or I don't know, should I even use the word perfect? Who who that right mate is for you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can live that life with that person.
That's
And as a student, it don't make sense me teaching and you learning.
no, that's right.
Because hey, I'm modeling. AJ and I better learn.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't learn, they gonna wish they did learn. Cause Doc, sometimes it seemed like it was just yesterday when they were born.
That's right.
Now they soon getting ready to go to junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And in a couple of years, they're gonna be at that age where Tanya and I are gonna have to say, okay, you're gonna get married, make the right choices.
That's right.
So we pray and hope that they are learning the lessons that we are teaching them and applying them. Because people say, oh, learning is power. No, application
Is
of
power.
what you have learned is where
That's
the
right.
power comes in, because
That's
that's
right.
the wisdom, where you properly um, apply the knowledge that you've learned.
That's right.
And I would say, like a friend of mine in St. Louis always used to say to me, he said, Alvin, whenever you eating fish, whenever you eating meat, you eat the meat and you throw away the bones.
Mm.
And if that is the way we operate, every relationship that we look at, they're going to be meat and bones. We look at it, we take off the meat, but we throw away the bones
Mm-hmm.
so
You
that we
know,
can get what's for us that will be beneficial for us forward, and what's not for us, we just discard it.
that's right. You know, Doc, it's a mother's and a father's dream to see their children choose great mates, mates that
Yes.
will take care of them, love
Hmm.
them,
Hmm.
and bring up a great family. I believe that's every mother's dream
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
father.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if we train our children, we teach them the right way, have an open communication with the child. So, especially when it's time for dating,
Mm-hmm.
you can begin to reinforcing some things that um, you know you may have shown them long time ago. So you begin to reinforce during the dating stage, and just throw out some questions every now and then. How is he in this area? Is he respectful? And this where parents can learn more and bring their children to thinking
Mm-hmm.
about it if they are not, you know,
Mm-hmm.
certain things you want them to start thinking about. The
Yeah.
minute they are dating someone, start thinking about this. Does he respect? Do y'all have an agreement? And
Mm-hmm.
begin to talk these things. And I think it will help the relationship because now in our time, some of the young people do not want to share relationship conversation with parents
Mm-hmm.
because they feel parents may not know. But the thing is, we write the book, we bought the T-shirt, we invented some of the things that they're seeing, but they feel it's new to them.
Yeah.
We have to then, show them
Mm-hmm.
how this thing is done. It isn't
Yeah.
new. It isn't new.
Which I don't understand, Doc, why the children will be like, well, my parents can't help me in no relationship.
Yeah.
Your parents are in a relationship. How you think you got here?
How did you get here? But it's a wicked plan of the devil, I could say,
Yeah, yeah.
because the parents know, I- you know, it's just that the children feel that the parents are old because
Yeah.
I've heard them say they're old. What worked for them is not working, but the principle is still the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
still the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we have much more work to do than we
We
you know.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we have to show them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I prefer someone who would have been in the trenches, someone who would have lived this thing to give me some advice than
Mm-hmm.
someone that is just starting out on a journey who haven't even tested the water.
Yeah. They ain't know nothing.
They don't know nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I would take the advice from one who would have been through this, live it, help other people, than to take it from someone who was just trying, starting out. So
And
I
Doc,
trust.
I'm gonna say something that may be very controversial, and you'll be like, well, why you bring this up now?
Mhm.
Um, People think that okay, I only need to look at people whose relationship are successful. No, look at people who relationship failed. You could
Mhm.
talk to them too and find out
That's right.
well what led to the failure.
Exactly.
What's it?
You can
So
learn
that
from
you
all.
you can learn a lot from that
You
too.
can learn a lot.
You can
That's
learn
it.
a lot from people's successes and from their failures.
Oh yeah. And that's what I say. Use those things for teaching moments
Yes, yes,
to
yeah.
help your relationship. Okay, this is what they did. This is what caused their relationship to fail. So
Hmm.
now you know what not to do.
Would not do. Yep.
you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So life is beautiful, and we get out of it exactly what we put
Thank
into
you
it.
very much. Hmm. And some
Exactly what
people
you
are
put into
getting
it
nothing out because they're
because they
putting
put
nothing in, and they are
absolutely,
expecting everything.
absolutely,
That's
and they
those
want it.
entitled persons.
Yes, and they want change to happen, but change will not happen until you make change happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Hmm.
if you're not doing your part, he's not doing his part. Congratulations to you both, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're going to get.
Nothing plus nothing equals nothing. Hmm.
So I want to say to the children, learn from your parents,
Hmm.
whether it's good, whether it's bad, you know what not to do and what to do.
Yes.
Talk to your parents.
Hmm.
There are wisdom in some of our parents.
Hmm.
Talk to them. Find someone you can share with,
Hmm.
especially some of those older women, the older men. They know they've done some things. They
Hmm.
have some mileage on their life, so they can help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we bring it to a close, we want to say thank you for joining in on the conversation here at the Relationship Marriage Hour with your host, Dr. Maria McDonald, and me, Dr. Alvin Hepburn. We were talking today on should parents choose mates for their children is a part two. So we thank you all for listening, and we say that you can be a part of the conversation. You can send us questions, you can send comments, you can text us. Even though we are signing off now, you can still text us at 437-778-3299. That's on WhatsApp. Or you could reach out to us in the chat. You can send us comments on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we thank you for your comments. Beautiful and Betty, and for all of the rest of you who may have sent comments, we thank you, and we say blessings and peace upon you until we see you next week, same place, same time, God spares life, here in the Relationship Marriage Hour.
Bye.